Do you remember that old saying, flying like a bat out of, well, you know the saying. Well, that's the way people are flocking to retail outlets to get their share of Batmania.
Now, what do you think?
Retailers think it's wonderful, and they pulled out all the Bat stops. Bat shoes, Bat towels, Bat shirts, Bat mugs, and none of the Bat goods are hanging around.
Well, like the Joker t-shirt, I wish I had one here to show you, but obviously we've had a couple of orders of those come in. They're gone. The hats are gone. I mean, it's just certain items that just continue to go.
More than 100 companies have been licensed to sell the Caped Crusader, not the movie, but the merchandise. Even his royal purple badness, Prince, has come out with the soundtrack. More hype for a movie that hasn't quite left the Batcave yet.
I think it's going to be rad.
Really? What's rad?
Radical.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. And kids aren't the only ones experiencing holy cow syndrome. The older generation has been keeping this McKinney Avenue Bat Gallery pretty busy. Old movie marquees, Batman miniatures, buttons, and yes, comic books are going like Batcakes.
Batman's become hip and cool, and people can come out of the closet and admit that they read Batman and that comics are in vogue now.
Theater employees will probably clean up in overtime this weekend. People have been trying to buy tickets now since early this morning. So as the fever builds, Batman is already in the bag, retailers say, and if the movie's a hit or not may not even matter. Now, Batman will open in some 2,000 theaters nationwide this weekend, and considering all the money they spent on the hype, the movie producers are hoping that they too can scream holy cow, that is, when the box office receipts are totaled. Larry Mullins, Channel 5 News, at a theater near you.
My AKAPADers, welcome back to the channel of channels. Fall in line, because we're all in the AKAPAD army. Guys, report for duty. Flex all day. Guys, 1989, Batman. The summer of Batman. Now, you guys know I prefer the summer of yellow. The Warren Beatty, Dick Tracy. I feel that that's the true comic book movie. The true adaptation. The 89 Batman swerved the character, but guess what? It embedded in all of our minds because so many of us, so many of you out there that watch this channel, we were like little guys when we were in the theater watching this movie. We were all disappointed when we went to the toy store and saw crap toys because we were just so used to really nice, good toys. Like you saw something on G.I. Joe and you went to the toy store and it was right there. You could buy it. You could buy Serpentor. But, guys, okay. So Serpentor should never have been the leader of the movie killed the franchise. The G.I. Joe, the movie, killed the whole story of that franchise. But moving on. We were all there. And we were there at the beginning of true movie hype, movie excitement. What started in Batman 1989, and I know so many of these historians, they will go right to Jaws, the first blockbuster, Star Wars, the first blockbuster with merchandise. AKAPADers, we all know the domino that the 1989 Batman movie was, and that domino tilted. And what we got, we had like a summer of Flintstones, a summer of Dick Tracy, a summer of Armageddon, Independence Day. The list goes on and on because of this movie. This movie intertwined all of media to where you would watch a movie and get one amazing soundtrack. The Batman Forever soundtrack, maybe my favorite. The Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, one of my favorite. The Spawn soundtrack, oh my god, with the DJs and the heavy metal dudes, and they're all like mixed together. Really cool stuff. Guys, The Crow, maybe the best movie soundtrack of all time. So, the Batman 1989 did these things. Didn't have a toy line, didn't have a full support, and then, just as kids, we were all, like, confused where Kenner would just crank out, like, Deep Sea Batman, Space Batman, right? Aqua Batman. Like, it would just keep going on and on. The Arctic one, the black and white one. Crazy stuff. We knew what they were doing, right? We knew, but this is like the beginning, too, of the merchandise completely taking over the character to where Batman could sell. Like, he could sell on toy shelves. And that changed action figures too. That Batman since 1989 has never really left toy shelves, and that's amazing. So there's all of these things that came up, and then what we forget is how risky this movie was, how much of a chance this movie was, how uncertain this movie was. We go back and we like to fake reflect, flecked. Maybe we just created that term on the channel. We fake flecked, and we act like this movie was instantly like adulation and popular and all these other things. This movie picked up steam. The media took over this movie because there was like a real curiosity. There was just something people didn't know. But when it comes to the quality of the movie, people pumped that stock. A lot of people were disappointed when they saw this movie. A lot of comic fans, they were like, this isn't the guy from the pages. I don't know what this is. Why do they keep screwing up my character? I get it. Some of the visuals, some of this, some of that, all this other stuff. As a child, I remember seeing like the opening like suite, the opening music, and thinking like you're inside the Batcave, the way that the camera is moving around the guts of the bat symbol, and the camera zooms out and we just reveal the logo, and then we go right into Gotham City. And you're thinking that kid is Bruce Wayne, and it turns out it's a gotcha scene. Really wonderful stuff. But we have to look back at Batman 1989 in a way of absolute hype. The movie was more hype than substance. We kind of go back now. Now we fake reflect, and we act like that the movie was instantly considered great. I still say, look, they missed a lot of notes. They missed a lot of stuff with Batman 1989. But I absolutely adore the solution of the Joker, and implement like the way that they reformed the Joker to make him lethal, to make him like you're more afraid of him, and the jokes and the puns and the way Nicholson really, like, it was still the best Joker because there was so much more to overcome for the Joker as a character at that time, and you actually like cared. You felt like that the Joker got screwed over in that movie, and you go both ways. Again, this is the ability of not just Tim Burton, but our screenwriter, Sam Hamm, I believe, wrote this, who also wrote some Detective Comics. But guys, for Sunday, that's a crazy Batman 1989 rate. I'm leaving this in. I don't care how long it is. Guys, sit down with me and let's enjoy some 1989 Batman goodness.
something I don't know, okay? Hi, I'm Robert Wall. Exactly 50 years ago, a teenage cartoonist named Bob King first created the character Batman.
When I was a kid, I was always interested in the innovative stages of the locomotive. All automobiles, all early innovations always fascinated me. And I saw this book by Leonardo da Vinci when I was 13. And da Vinci had a quote, "Your bird shall have no other wings but that of a bat." And he actually, there it was for me, a Batman.
Batman is a picture that has been a dream of mine and my partner Peter Guber's for many years.
This past year has been the realization not only of a 10-year partnership, but of a project that was there at the inception. And so it's quite exciting.
Come on, Miss Terry. Believe it or not, they've entrusted this entire operation to a 30-year-old guy who looks more like a lead guitarist than a leading director. Imagine having 400 people asking you 1,000 questions and having to have all the right answers instantly. Meet the amazing Tim Burton.
I just do a little look back, you know, because I want to see a little look back to the camera there.
There's been many scripts written, many directors, great directors involved with the project. There was a moment in time when John and myself saw Tim Burton, saw his creativity. The project began to gel. It began to take on a whole new life.
Roll camera.
I've never liked the idea of making big budget movies at all. I thought Batman was, you know, it was one of the things that could probably sustain that, or, you know, that made sense to make at a bigger budget.
Peter and I always had a vision of this picture, which is not too far off from where we've ended up, although Tim came in and began to make all those pieces possible.
I wasn't a big comic book fan, but I was a fan of the image. I mean, there's something very powerful to me about, you know, a guy dressed up as a bat and taking place at night and all that sort of thing, which I loved. And again, I remember when I was in art school, we talked about, you know, like the five images sort of the world, the most recognizable images, and it was like one was Mickey Mouse, I think one was Coca-Cola, and I think the other was the bat insignia. So I mean, they're very powerful. It's a very powerful image, and I just love that.
It's almost impossible to bring a legend to life on the screen. Everyone has their own personal vision. At first glance, Bruce Wayne appears to be an ordinary enough guy for a multimillionaire. So what makes him so different? He's also trained himself in body and mind to combat crime, turning himself into this fearsome creature of the night.
Originally, we had hoped to have Bill Murray play Batman. And when Peter and I saw Beetlejuice, we realized that it wasn't Bill Murray that we wanted, that it was Michael Keaton, because he had a kind of likable, attractive quality, but also had underneath an insanity.
And then he had a... Right shot! Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
You take it here, and then
then you tell me when to move from here. Michael, it's going to be right down here. Okay. All right down here.
I've done 2 or 3 different kinds of movies by this time, but this is the first one where I was truly part of the whole puzzle and whole picture. Also, it's the first time I've ever experienced being in an undertaking that's this huge. I was at once a participant and a spectator. I watched very few dailies, but the few that I watched, I found myself saying, this is amazing watching this movie, and then I realized, wait a minute, that's me in the movie. I kept forgetting I was actually in the movie, you know.
And you lied. Well, you lied to me about leaving town.
Well, let me tell you why.
Let me tell you. You invited me out, we went to dinner, I thought we felt something, and,
well,
and I trusted you, and I even slept with you. I can't believe I did that. And then you wouldn't return my phone calls. You must be some kind of jerk.
Look, you're a real nice girl, and I like you a lot, but for right now, shut up. I have something I have to tell you.
And I just felt with Michael, he's a very good actor, and the idea that he is a real human being to make him into Batman. I mean, that's the whole point of this, is to that he, you know, he's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, because if he were, why would he need to put on a bat suit?
So it's not really 2 moves, it's not really 1, 2. It's just step. Right, yes, it's step, bang.
I couldn't hear really because of the nature of the cow, and you had to learn how to adjust within that. You're not really hearing your voice.
See that thing on my belt? Grab it. Whatever you do, don't let go.
Another bat position up in here, please. Thank you. As soon as you can.
5, the other 2 up in that area up there.
Dealing with those rubber suits every day, those Batman suits, I mean, it was unbelievable. And to deal with all the physical aspect of this picture, because he literally had to pick me up many times, deal with me, all this. I don't know how much that thing weighed. Face it, you're not exactly normal, are you?
It's not exactly a normal world, is it?
Why did you bring me here? Well, you could have sent that stuff to the press yourself.
You're right. There is something else you have that I want.
What?
I love Vicki Vale because I got to make her up.
Something like this.
And that's wonderful. That's great. You know, I really enjoyed her every day.
You know, she makes it a romantic triangle. She makes it people dangerous and sensitive. I mean, she's just very, very, very invaluable in that way.
And you fall in love with her. And she has an incredible and emotional gift and vulnerability, sense of humor, and great strength that really makes you, you know, respect, admire, and love her.
Great purpose for this woman, because she's in the middle of it all, and there has to be a middle. There's a beginning and an end. And I consider Batman the end, and Joker the beginning, and I'm the middle.
We made a movie called Witches of Eastwick with Jack Nicholson, and when we were doing the movie, I looked at Jack and I said, you know, I don't want to tell you about this now, but there's a movie we're doing called Batman, and you have to play the Joker. And he had that kind of gleam in his eye, and he started laughing.
Oh, there'll be a hot time in the old town tonight.
I guess if there's any fear, and I haven't talked to him about it, but he might feel the same, is that the fear is that it's such an obvious choice. Is it too obvious? And the fact is, he's so good, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, I feel he's just the best.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
All he's got to do is show up, you know.
And as you can see, I'm a lot happier.
Back, you can be in. There they go. In. Slam it. Spot.
He took that part and just made it, you know, people will see. He was wonderful. No matter how large he's become, you know, he's still Jack Nicholson, whoever and wherever he came from.
There's not much going on.
I'm not seeing destruction outside of me necessarily.
Yeah. You know, when you look that extreme, you have to go in the other direction to kind of give it some reality, even though it's quite extreme. And you know, he's the best at it.
Wait till they get a load of me.
This is a movie that employed over 500 people. So there was a lot of work for all of us to do between the miniatures and the second unit and all the actors. When you have Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, and Kim Basinger in one movie, you know, you got your hands full.
The whole point of a good prosthetic makeup is that the actor can perform the way they want to perform with no hindrance whatsoever. Any prosthetic is sculpted to the actor's own muscle structure very accurately, so that it stretches and moves and behaves, hopefully exactly like real skin does. Foam latex is made much like a meringue. You take latex rubber, you take a soap, and you mix it up, it froths up, and you add a gelling agent that causes it to stay up. It goes into molds and gets cooked, which makes it a permanent reaction. It's creating a sponge, basically, with the skin on it.
He always wears this evening tailcoat, but in a purple, which is like this. But he wears stripes. Striped trousers. I talked to Jack, and he thought, you know, I really like plaids. So we did try some plaids, and this one seemed to work very well. I mean, as you can see, it's not very discreet.
So this is some of the gadgets we've actually completed. There's still a lot more on the benches down in the workshop.
We just knew that from the whole feel of the film that we were into, which is this forbidding, masked character, the knight look, you know, that we'd have sort of medieval elements in it, you know, the sort of knight in armour feel to it, and then go for sheer brute force violence.
And on the main set, all the streets were watered down every time they shot. So you got a lot of reflections in it. And the most difficult part of this particular model was trying to get that look to it to start with. And although we'd made the street shiny, we decided that we would really overdo it, and we covered the whole street with oil. We've got 4 cameras on that show. And the problem that I have is that Batwing now has got to continue down the street and crash onto the cathedral steps.
Good. Cut it. Very good. How was that, Chuck?
Here we have afterburners, which we have a combustion chamber back there, and fluid we mix into. And we'll just show you one of the many gags we have on this. There's this particular shot we have racing towards a chemical plant. The flaps blow up about 20 foot in the air.
Everything that a young boy would just love to drive.
It's always important to me with these kind of extreme characters to surround them in a setting, you know, which they belong. So I always like to think of sets as an extension of the characters. It's like New York gone mad, you know, if the planning commission had gone another way, that kind of thing.
He imagined it was hell had erupted through the pavements and just carried on growing.
When I first started talking about, like, this street, it was sort of think, well, how many extras do we need? I mean, you know, it could have been anywhere from 200 to 5,000, and I had no idea. I mean, one time I took a drawing and I started to draw little people in on it so I could try to count them all to see how many people I might need, but that didn't really work. So it's a new thing for me, yeah. One of the gifts and the geniuses, I think, of Tim Burton is that he is very collaborative and works well with a creative producer.
The star of this movie is truly the movie. I've been saying that for a while, but it really is.
As John, who was on point on the project in London, would often say, he said, it's exciting to see what you've worked on for such a long period of time on the page really end up on the stage.
Vicki Vale.
Bruce Wayne.
And what do you do for a living?
I mean, that's what Batman is really for. It's for everybody, and it's a celebration. Batman, I just, you know, I really feel good having been a part of it.
I have given a name to my pain.
It's an emotional, wonderful story about a wonderful character, a love story, an adventure, and it's a wonderful movie that just makes you feel good at the end of it.
My life is really complex.
Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
Right now at Taco Bell, you can collect free Batman cups, like a free Batmobile cup. Or a free Batwing cup. 4 cups in all, free, with free refills and free cinnamon twists every time you buy a 32-ounce drink at Taco Bell.